What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and I'm here today to talk about They Cloned Tyrone. It's the newest joint on Netflix, and I can say that it's a banger on Netflix that just dropped over the weekend, and I finally got around to it, and as you can tell, calling it a banger, I really enjoy it. So the story follows John Boyega's character, who is Tyrone, Tioni, I think it's Tiani Paris, who is a lady of the night, and her name is Yo-Yo. And then you have Jamie Foxx's character, who's a pimp. I forgot what his name is, so it kind of blew my mind, but shout out to Jamie. I'm glad he's doing better. I had to get that out there first. So they're in this fictional city in America, and Tyrone is a drug dealer, and like I said, everybody else has to play in their parts, and they're just doing pretty much some hood shit. They in the hood, they in the trap. They even reference that word, the trap, all throughout. And so, without spoiling it, it's shown in the teaser that Tyrone finds a clone of himself, and from that point, he gets up with Yo-Yo and Jamie Foxx's character, and they're trying to figure out what's going on in the city, why is there a clone, and all this other thing. So, that's all I'm going to say without spoiling it, but this movie's excellent. It's written well, it's shot well, the soundtrack bangs, everything about it just works for me. It fires off at all cylinders, and man, it is good. As far as, I'm not going to talk about the storyline because I feel like if I say anything or too much, it's going to spoil what it actually is. But I can say that once things get figured out and we find out what's going on and the reason behind Tyrone being cloned, it takes the movie to a different level of sci-fi because it respects the sci-fi. Because a lot of times when you have these humorous movies that are paired with a different type of genre, I always get a little weary because I don't know if I don't know if the comedy is going to be laughing at the genre or just making laughs within what the regular storyline is. And on top of that, with it being this type of film, I didn't know if it was going to be laughing at the culture of what they're presenting or laughing with it. And so I'm glad to say that it's laughing with it, and it's hysterical. Side hurting laughing. There's a scene that happens to do in his church, and it has to do with David Alan Grier's character that had me rolling. Oh my God, I cried laughing. I had to rewind that part just because I couldn't believe what they did in this moment. But it's funny, even in the comedy, there's real gems and nuggets about, black folks and the systematic things that go along with it. So this movie did all of those things of including the layers of being black in America without it ever feeling shoehorned in. Like it never comes off as preachy in any moment. It's just a ride that you're on. But that's just that aspect of it. The humor tackles a lot of different things in that. And with it being a black cast, the thing that I really do love about it is it's not a movie that's saying like, oh, this is for black people. This is just suited for black folks. And a lot of times these companies think that that's what it's about, and I'm not sure how their people perceive it, but I can see how this could be perceived as that, but it's not that. I feel like, again, there are references to things of black culture that maybe in the background or things that may be said that if you're not aware, it can fly over your head, but it's not like you need to know and be aware that's up to enjoy the movie. At the end of the day, it's a sci-fi film that takes place in pretty much regular neighborhood. Like everything that we see is pretty regular if you've been in that type of environment. So again, every character involved in their thing. John Boyega, as usual, we all know that he is a chameleon. He gets so in depth and deep into the character, you don't even see him. It's just like, I've never seen him in this light before. From the accent to his clothes, all of that, it just works. Really, and Tioni being Yo-Yo did an excellent job too. She brought a lot of humor. Of course, her and Jamie Foxx, they kind of bounce off of each other. Her being a hoe and him being a pimp. You can imagine that there's a lot of banter back and forth there. But again, nobody is ever played as being dumb. Everybody has some sort of intellect, and it just works for me, man. And I gotta talk about the cinematography. Woo, the cinematography is gorgeous. I love how grainy it is. I'm not sure if they shot on film. I'm pretty sure they didn't, but they could have. I don't know. But I know when it comes to editing, you can always amplify the graining on anything. I've done it before on a few of my shorts. But the way it looks, the color palette, the way it's graded, all of that just screams 70s blaxploitation films. But I love how they play with the 70s vibe, but you can tell it takes place in present day. I really love when films are able to capture that. One in specific that always comes to mind is It Follows. You know, It Follows felt kind of like a late 80s film, but there are modern things to let you know that it's not taking place in the past. Same thing here. And they double down with that concept of like feeling like the 70s with the score. A lot of the score feels like it's from those blaxploitation movies. It's a live band playing, and it just enhances the overall vibe to the film. And you still get those glimpses of trap music in the background. Like there's a lot of like Memphis style music. I mean, I think there's a Project Pat song playing in the background. So clearly this takes place not in the 70s. People have cell phones. Even the way people are dressed, you can tell that it's modern. But it all just works out so well, man. Netflix is really pissing me off with this. They're releasing these banger movies that we cannot see in theaters, because I feel like this would have been a hell of a film to watch in theaters. But that's all I can pretty much say without spoiling it, because again, if I tiptoe too far, it's going to lead to what is going on in the film, and I don't want to say anything. Just the way that the clone even comes about was a surprise to me, and I almost spoiled it. I had to re-record this video because I spoiled that prior. So just know you're in for a treat if you do watch it. You're in for a treat if you do want to watch it or you're interested. Definitely give it a watch. It's on Netflix right there. So if you have seen They Cloned Tyrone, let me know in the comments what you think about it. Where does it fall on your favorites list of the year? It's definitely going up there on my favorites, and I really like what they did with the outro with the credits. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So let this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe if you already are subscribed. Thank you, and until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy.